Shantarakshita, Sangarakshita, Sangarakshita.
Which translation?
I heard that Sangarakshita's translation, but I could not get it.
I'm not aware. I've not seen it, so maybe. Okay, so we last time when we were reading, we stopped this sentence where he declares that. Yes. Is that? Present one. We have this last sentence, there we stopped. So we actually are in this section where one is, this step where one is trying to be free from the ego, which might arise due to some special attainments like Shrotapatti, Sakradagami, Anagami, Arhat, right? So, and there in that last section we stopped actually. Maybe Supasanti, if you could read Aham Asmi Bhagwan Arhat. Can you read from there? Please. Yeah, so just to give you this background, because the Buddha said, like, if someone becomes, someone who is either Srotapanna or Sakradagami, Anagami or Arhat, if they think that they have attained that particular state, that they are either Sotapanna, etc., then that itself is their Atmagraha, Tattvagraha, Jivagraha, and Pudgalagraha. That means their obsession or adherence to the idea of self, the idea of being, the idea of life force, and the idea of Pudgala, person, over and above the five aggregates. And that in other words, they cannot be true bodhisattvas. Because this ego, which says that I have become something, that is the obstacle. That abhimana. In Sanskrit, we call it abhiman. That's an obstacle, and the practitioner should get rid of it. Okay, and then Subhuti asks, why is that? Tatkasya hetoho, and then he starts this sentence. Ahamasmi, sorry, please continue again. Ahamasmi Bhagwan. Tatkasya hetoho ahamasmi Bhagwan tathagatena arahata samyasambuddhena arana vihari namaviyo niditaha. Yes. Now he says, and why is that? Tatkasya hetoho, and he says, Aham asmi Bhagavan. So, O Bhagavan, I am. Aham asmi. Just a minute. Where did we go? Just a minute. Yeah, tathagatena arhata samyak sambuddhena arana viharinam agryo nirdishtaha. So I have been declared or described, nirdishtaha, that's a past participle from nir plus dish, to describe or to explain. So I have been described by the Tathagata, who is an arhat, the worthy one, and perfectly enlightened one. Samyak Sambuddha. Sorry? Oh. How did she know that?
I'm so sorry. I think today just presentation.
Oh, I told you yesterday, I mean, not yesterday, but in a previous class that we'll do some presentation and some reading.
We have also planned to do something else.
What?
For New Year.
No, wait. We'll wait for New Year. Tomorrow we'll discuss and yeah. So I have been described. Aham nirdishtaha by the Tathagata, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. And Arana Viharinam Agryo Nirdishtaha. So I have been described as Agriya. Agriya means the foremost, one who is in the foremost position. Agriya. Agra means the top. And Agriya means someone who is placed on top. Right? So it's an adjective.
What's a senior?
No, I mean the foremost, not senior, but I mean you can say the topmost, the best of. Yeah, you can say the best of what? Arana Viharinam. So best of those arhats who are Arana Vihari. Arana Viharinam, that's a genitive plural. So Arana Vihari, Vihara means one who is living or in the state of. In the state of what? It is state of Arana. Rana means conflict, trouble, and Arana means a state free from trouble, free from conflict. Yeah, so that means a peaceful state. Yeah, a peaceful state. So, especially there is a category of arhats, and they are called Ubhato Bhaga Vimukta. That means those who follow the path of Shraddha and Dharma. So, Dharmanusari and Shraddhanusari. So these are two types, and those who are free from both sides, that means from the side of defilement as well as from the point side of wisdom. So they are called Ubhato Bhaga Vimukta. So free or released from both sides. So we have Cheto Vimukti and we have Prajñā Vimukti. Yeah? So those who have got both these Vimuktis, Cheto Vimukti and Prajñā Vimukti, okay, so they are called Ubhato Bhaga Vimukta. So such arhats. So he is kind of a best among such arhats. So there are arhats who, who attain their deliverance through practice of samadhi, or some through the practice of vipassana, that is prajna, and then there are those who attain liberation through the practice of both. So they are called Cheto Vimukti. They got both Cheto Vimukti and Prajñā Vimukti. So he is declared to be the Agriya, the topmost, or the supreme, or the best of. Okay. Okay. Then next, Sunim.
So actually, can you find out?
See, yesterday, I mean, this is in the same paragraph where we read Shrotapati Sakradagami. Did you find it? Yeah, okay.
From Nacha, right?
No, you have
Aham
to.
asmi Bhagavan.
Aham asmi Bhagwan, yes.
Aham asmi Bhagavan arhat vitragaha
Vitaragaha.
vitragaha vitragaha nacha me Bhagavan
Nacha me Bhagwan
Bhagavan is Bhagavan
evam bhavati
evam bhavati arhat arhat
arhan asmi
Ahan asmi ayam
aham
aham
vitaragaha.
vitraga iti.
Yeah, okay, stop. So now Subhuti says, I mean, he gives his own example. Now he says, look, I mean, O Bhagwan, O Lord, O Exalted One, I am an Arhat. Aham asmi Bhagwan Arhat. So, O Bhagwan, I am an Arhat. Vitaraga, who is free from passion, who is, I mean, literally, Vitaraga means someone from whom passion has completely gone, yeah, gone out. So Vitaraga, Vita.
Vita is patience.
No, Raga is passion.
Oh, yes.
But then now you should, you're already in the 4th semester completing MA.
Yes.
So this, you ask this type of question now. What is passion? It's Raga. And Vita is the past participle from V plus E to go. Go completely. So fully.
So it's different in Raga Desha. Patient is
Raga Dvesha or Moha, Lobha Dvesha Moha.
Same as
Yes. So Vita Raga means someone from whom Raga, that means the passion has gone out. That means one who is free from passion. Okay. So Subhuti now says, look, I mean, I am an Arhat whose passion have gone, have totally disappeared. Nachame Bhagwan evam bhavati. However, O Lord, O Exalted One, it never occurs to me. That means I never think. What I never think? Arahan asmi vitaragaha iti. That I am an Arhat who is free from passions. So Subhuti has attained Arhathood, and he has attained this special status of being Aranavihari, and Buddha himself has declared him to be the best among the Aranavihari Arhats, among the peaceful Arhats, among the Arhats who live in the state of tranquility, no conflict. But still, that ego does not touch him at all. He does not have any abhimana, any ego that I am an Arhat, I am a Vitaraga Arhat. So this kind of I mean that affliction of I and mine does not touch him. So therefore, we can say that he is someone who is free from this ego or pride, right? Which otherwise one can get when one attains, when one gets kind of some special attainment, right? So Subhuti is kind of a certain example of how someone, even after becoming Arhat and even after being declared by the Buddha to be the foremost, he can remain free from any ego, right? And you remember this section particularly is focusing on how to overcome this obstacle of ego, right? Because now in this particular section, this one and the following ones, we will see different obstacles on the path of attaining the prajñāpāramitā, the perfection in wisdom. And in that list, the first obstacle is the possible emergence of ego when one kind of gets some special attainments, right? Okay. Yeah. So with this, actually, I think Yeah, okay. No, Sunim.
Yes.
Did you find it now?
Mama Bhagavan Evam Bhavin Moya Arahanam Pratamiti. Naunam Tattagatu Yakarishya Pranal Viharinam Aviyu Subuti Pulpamituruna Vatsidyati Temsate Orana Vihari.
Yes, okay, stop. Now, Subhuti further adds, when he says, Sachit, if Mama Bhagwan evam bhavet, O Bhagwan, O exalted one, if it would occur to me that, and so what would occur to me? That if, in other words, O Bhagwan, if I start thinking or if I have this thought, which thought? That Maya arhatvam praptam, that I have attained arhathood. Yeah? I have attained arhathood. Now, this particular statement, now, okay, I mean, saying that is not a problem, but believing it to be true is a problem. You understand? I mean, in communication, you can say all these things, that's fine. But to start believing in it and to start, I mean, to consider it as something real or true is problematic. So, Subhuti says that if I would think in this manner, I would think that I have attained arhathood in a true sense, in ultimate sense, then na mam tathagato vyakarishat, na mam tathagato vyakarishat. Now this, what form is this? See, evam bhavet, I mean, Bhagavan, Sachit, mama evam bhavet. Now this was the potential, bhavet, from the root bhu. But then the second part, you can see, namam tathagato vyakarishat. Yeah. So this vyakarishat is actually a conditional. Yeah. In Sanskrit, you know that there are how many tenses and how many moods are there in Sanskrit? Three what? Comparative?
Not imperative, potential. Imperative.
Imperative.
Yeah. Conditional.
Conditional. Three. Okay, there is one more. In fact, there is optative, and there is also, I mean, in Sanskrit, there is also another mood called subjunctive.
So optative is same to potential.
Yeah, it is, but it is treated as something separate because that optative is only used for blessings, whereas potential has many other shades. Okay, so I mean, you can say that actually there is a subjunctive mood which is only used in the Vedic language, Vedas. But in in classical Sanskrit, otherwise we have imperative, we have potential, we have optative, and we have conditional. So four moods, and then tenses. Of course, you know that one present, two future, and three pasts. Right, six. Okay, so now, I mean, this is a typical construction. Usually what happens is that if you start a sentence with, I mean, especially just clausal sentences, if you have potential in the subclause, then you also have potential in the main clause. But now in this particular sentence, you see, he says, Sachet Mama Bhagwan Evam Bhavet. Yeah. Okay, so this is, I mean, he starts here, like you can see subclause, he uses the potential. Sachet Mama Bhagwan Evam Bhavet, right? Bhavet. Yeah? This is the potential form. Okay? Third person singular from the root bhu. If it would occur to me that I have become an arhat, I have attained arhathood, then now you can see the main clause, na mam tathagato vaikarishyat. Then the Tathagata would not have proclaimed, then the Tathagata would not have professed that Arana Viharinam Agreha Subhuti Kulaputro, that the Kulaputra, a noble son, Subhuti, is the best Agreha among those who are, who are living in the state of no conflict, that means the state of peace. And then he says, na kaschit viharati, and he does not live, or he does not really wander anywhere. So these are the two statements which the Buddha, would not have made otherwise, he says. So you can see Vyakarishat is a potential form. Not potential, conditional form. Conditional, third person, singular, okay? From the root V plus A plus Kr, that means to explain, to describe. So what Subhuti is trying to say is that if I would have had that ego, and if I would have had Atma Saujnya, perception of self, and Dharma Saujnya, the perception of the state, object. You can say Maya Arhatvam Praptam. So Maya, this refers to Atma Saujnya, or the obsession for self. And when you say Arhatvam Praptam, then Arhatva is considered as a dharma, right? As an entity. So there is the dharma saujnya. Now, so this statement would amount, if you take it really seriously, then there is ego, there is Atma saujnya, or you can say there is a Pudgala, and there is dharma. So there is no Pudgala Nairatmya, there is no Dharma Nairatmya. And then this would contradict the idea of Arhathood. Right? So therefore he says that if I would have had this thought that I have attained Arhathood, then the Buddha would not have declared him to be the best among the practitioners, among the monks who are living in the peaceful state. Yeah. So he would not have declared. In other words, that means if you really attach to it, you cannot be an Arana Vihari. You cannot be a true Arhat. Right? And Nakvachit Viharati. This is another you can say words of appreciation which the Buddha said about Subhuti. That Subhuti does not live anywhere. That means Subhuti is not attached anywhere. He's free from attachment. Right? His mind, now when you say Viharati, lives, we are not talking about physically living somewhere, but we are talking about your mind dwelling in some idea. Your mind dwelling in some kind of a state. Okay, so he says Subhuti does not dwell anywhere. That means Subhuti's mind is not attached anywhere. Okay, his mind is free, and therefore is the best among the Arana Viharis. Okay. Yeah.
क्वचित और सेम है।
हाँ? नहीं, कैसे क्वचित और कश्चित सेम कैसे होगा?
यहाँ पे मेरा क्वचित लिखा हुआ है।
क्वचित ही बोल रहा हूँ मैं कश्चित नहीं बोल रहा हूँ। It is क्वचित, anywhere. न क्वचित, not anywhere. That means nowhere. Viharati. So he does not dwell anywhere. That means his mind does not is not attached to any particular object, any particular location, or any particular concept. Okay. So in this way, I mean, you can see that on one hand, there is a encouragement to a practitioner to attain all these states, to become Shrotapanna, to become Sakudagami, Anagami, Arhat, Vitaraga. But, so this is a Chanda Pranidhana, so you should do it, you should aspire for it in order to become the Buddha ultimately. But, while doing that, but while doing that, while attaining it, you have to tell your mind, you have to tell your mind that I should not have this kind of attachment to the concept of I and concept of dharma, right? So if at all one gets that kind of atma saujnya or dharma saujnya, that means the concept of I and the concept of dharma, the state, then one is not true arhat, one is not true bodhisattva. Okay. Yeah. Good. So this is kind of a yeah. Sorry, the last one we have seen tenochate aranavihari iti, and therefore is called aranavihari. Therefore means since subhuti does not get attached anywhere, yeah. Therefore he is called aranavihari. So as chitta pragraha section, as a part of supporting your mind or not allowing your mind to distract, you should tell yourself that okay, aranavihari is just something which Buddha has said. So this is a conventional reality. It is said, that means it is a conventional reality. It is not an ultimate reality. Okay? In ultimate reality, nothing arises, nothing ceases. Right? So all these states, they do not arise. There is no attainment of Srotapati, there is no attainment of Sakadagami up to Arhat. Okay? So this is how we have to consider. I mean, at the time of Samruti, you have to say, yes, there is a state of Aranavihari, and Buddha has praised Subhuti as the foremost in that particular state. Okay, but that is a conventional reality and one has to strive for it. But after you overcome that conventional reality, after you reach the state where you become that Aranavihari person, become an Arhat who is Aranavihari, then at that moment you should invoke the ultimate reality. You should tell yourself that there is no I who attained Arhathood, and there is no state called Arhathood. Okay? So they do not exist truly. Okay? So their existence is just like a image, just like a reflection. Okay? And the balance is that you have to keep this in mind, that only at the conventional level, this words Aranavihari is there, it exists. But at the ultimate level, it does not exist. Okay. Yeah. So with this particular section about getting rid of the abhimana upon attaining certain special states is over. Okay. Now we will go to the next section. Let me. Oh no.
So,
Yeah.
Vihari,
Huh?
the story is called Vihari. Arana Vihari is
The basic word is viharin, right? It's in suffix in the end. So one who possesses arana vihara is called arana viharin. So this in is a possessive in. Okay. So arana vihara simply would mean a state of non-conflict. But arana viharin means one who possesses that state. Okay. Okay. So E वो possessive वाला E है. Now we'll go to the next section, and that the next section is, as the commentary tells us, it is called Buddhotpadaragata Sthanam. So that's the next session. Buddhotpada aragata. That means non-attachment with regard to the birth or the rise of a Buddha. Now, you see, when you're practicing, okay, I get rid of ego. Now, when one walks on those steps, Shrotapatti, Sakradagami, Anagami, Arhat, right? Now, after that state, in order to become the Buddha, Samyak Sambuddha, there is one more requirement. And that requirement is to get some prophecy from the earlier Buddha. Do you know that? Yeah? We have this kind of, we need to get, not we, but a Bodhisattva should get some prophecy or prior announcement from a Buddha about his becoming the future Buddha.
he announced through his supernova.
Yeah, there is this very famous story, remember, when he was still a Sumedha Brahmin, an ascetic. Then he went to a place where he learned that the Buddha Dipankara is coming to visit that place, and everyone is busy preparing the road for the Buddha to come. So this Sumedha Brahmin, the Parivrajaka, also decides to contribute. Do you know the story? No? And then the Buddha comes, but then the road is still not completely done. So then what he does, you must have seen there is also picture of this in art, Buddhist art, that he lies down in the mud, spreads his hair, so that he asks Buddha to walk over him, so that his feet does not get dirty. Yeah. So then Buddha makes, I mean, this Dipankara Buddha makes a prophecy that he will become Buddha in future. Hmm? Sorry?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see that? It's a very famous story. Yeah. Don't you know this story? Sunil? Huh? You know? Okay. How about Suposada and Suposanti? Do you know this story? You know this story, right? Okay. Yeah. So there's the story. I mean, and this is said to be a necessary condition to become Buddha, right? That there should be a prophecy. It is also called Vyakarana, right? So that earlier Buddha should declare that okay, this person is going to become the Buddha in future. I think I mean, we also had this kind of prophecy about Shariputra, right, in the Sadhana Pundarika, that in future he will become the Buddha, isn't it? So I mean, this is there in the Buddhist tradition. I mean, as a necessary condition to Buddhahood. Now, so if someone is practicing to become a Buddha, he would always think that there should be a Buddha. The Buddha should be born, and in this world, and he should make prophecy about me, right? Because in order to become Buddha, that's a necessary condition. So one may get attached to that idea of arising of Buddha. Okay, and that is an obstacle from this sutra's point of view. So I mean, this person might think, okay, then Buddha should arise, and he may kind of not focus on this practice, but he may just be thinking about, okay, when will Buddha arise? Yeah, when is he going to meet me? And when can he make a prophecy for me? Anyway, so I mean, there's also this idea of favorable conditions. Yeah, kshana. It is called kshana in Sanskrit. So there are 8 favorable conditions which are necessary to have spiritual progress, like human birth, right? And then the stability of dharma and so on and so forth. I mean, so again, in that, in order to become Buddha, this prophecy is one of the positive conditions, one of the necessary conditions. Okay.
So,
Huh.
question.
Yes.
Here this sutra, Buddha himself mentioned here that through the chanting of this sutra, the Vajracchedikā sutra, prajñāpāramitā, if someone read this sutra or chant this sutra, then get good merits that he can, they can earn their good merits, and they can destroy their past their bad merits. So and so he has mentioned here, but in other like sutra or in see there also, and other than Bhavi regarding the Bodhisattva part, there is mentioned that only chanting that sutras is not working entirely. There is mention like this. So, so by Buddha himself has said that here in the through chanting also that only chanting also it's broken. So what is different?
No, so even chanting is No. So what is your question? So in the chanting.
Execution is that they're in Bau, but they're in Mulamadhyama Karika. There is bench, there is the characteristic of Bodhisattva, the characteristic of Bodhisattva, and other that Brahman characteristic. Yes, just differentiate the characteristic of Brahman and Bodhisattva.
Mm-hmm.
So there is mentioned that only chanting the sutra is mantra that this thing will not work. But here Buddha himself has said that chanting also will work. So these things are different.
Mm-hmm.
So this both are not matching.
नहीं क्या मैच नहीं करता ऐसा लगता है आपको?
जैसे कि जी वहाँ पे जैसे कि चैंटिंग करने से यहाँ पे बताया गया है कि चैंटिंग करने से जो भी खुद का पाप होता है वो नष्ट हो जाता है तो वहाँ पे बोला कि वो चैंटिंग करने में कुछ भी वैसा काम नहीं आता.
No, I mean, see, if you look at, for example, Sadhana Pundarika, now his question is about, okay, one place you say that, I mean, one cannot become, or one cannot become or cannot be liberated just by doing puja and all that stuff, right? But and in some other occasion, it is said that, okay, just by chanting the name, you can be liberated. So there is a contradiction, apparent contradiction. But I mean, you see in Sadhana Pundarika it is said that this is just upaya, right? Like worshipping the image or offering flowers, incense, right? And making stupa. All these are upayas to prepare you for enlightenment, right? So these are different ways of, I mean, he uses a term like paripachana, cooking or ripening or maturing your mind, yeah, your consciousness. Because they say that initially people are, I mean, so engrossed, when they are so much engrossed in ignorance and in craving, that they cannot think of emptiness or something like all the higher teachings, right? So at that time, you just have to give them some very basic thing, and slowly start preparing them. So I mean, the Buddha will not say that, okay, chanting is the ultimate way to attain liberation. No, but they'll say, okay, chanting is a upaya, right? It's a upaya. So to mature you for the practice of bodhi. Okay, but ultimately you have to kind of go through that understanding of shunyata or chittamatrata or whatever. So without that we cannot. Yeah, in if it is a Shavakayana, they say, okay, you have to go through this either of the three, anitya, dukkha, anatma, and only after that you can become a Buddha. Okay, so I mean we have to distinguish. Jaise abhi, now when you start your education, you say, okay, first you should do BA or 10th, then 12th, then BA, then MA, and then PhD. But you say, okay, now if you don't do BA, you cannot go for PhD, right? So I say, okay, so doing BA is, I mean, in order to become enlightened, you must do BA. Now, but that does not mean that this is the last step. It simply means that it's a means. You can start with that, but later on you have to also do other things. So this is just to encourage practitioners to do something, to get started, right? Otherwise they will not do anything. Okay. So anyway, where were we? Yeah. So the point is that uh, we were talking about this now, this new section which we are going to start reading. So there is this obstacle in practitioner's mind that he might just attach or may give too much importance to the birth of a Buddha. He said, okay, if the Buddha is not there, how can I become a Buddha? Right? Because the Buddha should make some prophecy for me. So that would become an hindrance. And it is called like Buddhotpadaragata. Buddhotpadaragata means attachment to the Buddhotpada. But then what we are trying to do here is Buddhotpada aragata. So as a practitioner, to overcome this difficulty, this problem, what is it? This becomes an obstacle when you attach too much to the idea of Buddha or arising of Buddha. So that's why a practitioner is now is told how to overcome this. Who read the last sentence? You read the last sentence. So Kasanta, can you read the next one?
Bhagavan aha tatkim nyase subute asti sa prajñāpāramitā yas tathagatena divankarasya
Tathagatasya
ahata
arhata samyak
samyak sambuddhasya
antikat udgruhitaha. Right? Yes. What does it mean? I ask. Right? Yeah. Is there any dharma? Asti kashit dharma. Right? Tat kim mane subhuti. So what do you think of subhuti? Asti sa kashit dharma. Is there any particular dharma? Asti saha kashit. So any, and sam is that. Yeah, that some. That means, is there any particular dharma? Is there any particular anyway, I think we just keep it as dharma. Yes, tathagatena dipankarasya saka rata samyak sambuddhasya sakasha antikat, udgruhitaha, which the exalted one has learned or has picked up. Udgruhitaha is a past participle from ud plus graha, to pick up. Okay. So, is there any dharma which the Tathagata has acquired or has learned from Dipankara, who is himself a Tathagata, an Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha? Now, this has that reference to that story. Okay, the story that Dipankara gave that prophecy to Sumedha, Shakyamuni Buddha, when he was a Bodhisattva, right? When he was an ascetic called Sumedha, yeah. That's that story, right? Which I just now mentioned to you. That we have this in Pali, right? You must have studied. Sunil, did you study that portion? No. The story about Dipankara? It is there also in the Nidana Katha section and other places. So, and this is, as I said, also depicted many a times in art form. You can see Bodhisattva, Sumedha Brahmin lying down in the mud on the street, and the Buddha making that prophecy, Dipankara Buddha. So the question is there any dharma which the Tathagata, that means now this Tathagata refers to the Buddha, I mean the Shakyamuni Buddha, has acquired Udgruhita, or has picked up from the Tathagatas, I mean from Dipankara, who is also a Tathagata, who is also a Buddha, right? So, okay. And then what is the answer?
Subhuti aha nahi idam bhagavan nasti sa kaschit dharma yes yatha gatena dipankarasya tathagatasya
arhatah samyak sambuddhasya antikat udgruhitah. I mean, the rest of the sentence is the same. It starts with no hidam bhagwan. Oh Bhagwan, certainly not. It is certainly not the case. That means it is certainly not the case. And this the Tathagata has not acquired any dharma from Dipankara Buddha, the worthy one. Okay. Now, again, this has the same idea of there are two statements. I mean, one statement says that is there any dharma which Tathagata has acquired? Now we know actually from the conventional or the traditional point of view, yes, we'll say yes. Tathagata has acquired prophecy, Vyakarana from the Dipankara Buddha. But this is conventionally true. From the ultimate point of view, the dharma or the prophecy, the Vyakarana, is not an entity, is not a dharma which can arise or which can be learned, which can be transferred and things like that. Okay, so from that point of view, there is no acceptance of any dharma. Okay, so ultimately, I mean, from that point of view, there is no dharma which Tathagata has acquired. Okay, next one, Sukhosanti. Yeah, so again, I mean, we have seen this discussion about the nature of dharma. The nature of ultimate dharma, as we have seen, is something which is agrahya, that is ungraspable, and anabhilapya, that means unexpressible. Right? So the dharma in the ultimate sense cannot be grasped, cannot be expressed. Now, if that is the case, then from the ultimate realist point of view, we cannot say that Tathagata has taught anything or Tathagata has in the ultimate sense, there cannot be any attainment of dharma. There cannot be any teaching or admonition of the dharma. Whatever we talk that he acquired the teachings, he learned, I mean, he obtained the prophecy, This is all conventional reality, just at the level of communication. Okay.
So for Buddha, is
Sorry.
For us is not possible to grasp and so for Buddha, but it's Buddha can grasp and for Buddha is possible. For Buddha is possible.
No. I mean, you see, what is possible to the Buddha? You mean? No. For no, I mean, see, this dharma. I mean, it is. See, I told you last time, like when you have this idea of duality, that there is someone who is grasping, and there is something that is grasped. So you have the object and agent kind of. If you separate them, then you are already moving away from the reality. Because in reality, this duality is not there. The duality of knower and known, right? Someone who is grasping and that which is grasped, right? So that duality is not there. Yeah. Yeah, tathapi, can you, yeah, tathapi, this is the sentence, right? You are dealing with. No, sorry. I'm in the commentary. Bhagwan aha, what's it? Yeah, that's a sentence, right? Yeah. Okay. So Bhagwan aha, so the Bhagwan said, Yak kashit subhute bodhisattva evam vadet. So whosoever bodhisattva, yak kashit bodhisattva. So whosoever bodhisattva would say like this, would say thus, evam vadet. What? That aham kshetra vyuha nishpadeshami iti. Now actually with this we start a new section. I mean in the earlier section where we have seen that there is a, I mean the Buddha is denying the existence of any dharma, yeah, in an ultimate sense, and the arising of the Buddha in an ultimate sense. So that covers basically that section about how to overcome the attachment for the arising of the Buddha. So in order to overcome that attachment, I mean, initially is okay. I mean, when you start with the Sthathavyam part, at the conventional realist point of view, then you have to say, okay, that there is a Buddha and then he will give you the prophecy and so on and so forth. But at the ultimate sense, one has to tell himself or herself that there is no dharma that can be grasped, that can be taught, that can be learned. Right? In ultimate sense, there is no grahya-grahaka relationship. So this statement that Buddha, I mean Shakyamuni Buddha acquired some dharma, some prophecy from the Dipankara Buddha is only true as a conventional statement, but it is not true as an ultimate statement. So with that, that particular section about or that particular sthana is over, and then next one actually is about the kshetra vyuha. Do you know this idea of kshetra vyuha? I think we have touched it in the last few sections, right? I mean, especially in the Vimal Kirti, remember? We had this discussion of kshetra vyuha. Kshetra Vyuha. Don't remember? Have you studied Vimalkirti?
Yes.
What? You have written tutorials on Vimalkirti? Right? You have taken the survey of Vimalkirti. What is there in different chapters? Yeah, Sunim wrote a very detailed tutorial on that. Yeah, remember? Huh? No?
Can you just give us that just hint?
What was the first chapter of Vimalkirti?
We just went through the third chapters.
So you wrote your tutorials. Don't tell me. I've seen them. You have written about it. See, that's a that's a very first thing about the purification of the Buddha Kshetra.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah? And then Vimalkirti.
Land of Buddha, yes.
Sorry?
Land of Buddha. Purification of land.
The land of Buddha, yes. And then what Vimalkirti says? I mean, he said that this is not a real. I mean, the real purification of the Buddha land is basically purification of your own mind. Yeah? So when you purify your own mind, you're actually purifying the Buddha Kshetras. So this is what Vimalkirti says. Yeah? Anyway, so this idea of Buddha Kshetra, I mean, it is said that whatever karma you do, you create a kind of a field of influence of that particular karma. Right? I mean, some may call it an aura or kind of a, you create your own world by your karma. You see, I mean, there are also these kind of stories, these ghosts. I mean, ghost realm, those who are in the ghost realm or those who are in heavenly realm, they create their abodes. I mean, they have their abodes as a result of whatever good or bad karma they do. I mean, those who do good karma, they will have their vimana, yeah? Their abodes created in heaven. That is also just like their kshetra. But I mean, Buddha kshetra is still which wider idea. Because Buddha's merit is much more. I mean, it is beyond imagination. So when a Buddha is born, that it creates a world. So we have this idea in Buddhism, right? Like Sukhavati is a world of Amitabha Buddha, isn't it? Yeah? Amitabha Buddha has Sukhavati as his kshetra. So every Buddha has its kshetra, has its world. And kshetra vyuha. Actually, this vyuha means, multitude. Not a single, but a multitude. That is called Buddha kshetra. Now, as a path of Buddhahood, just as the Vyakarana, just as the prophecy, creating Buddha kshetra is also one of the important conditions. Okay? Because every Buddha has its kshetra, has its area, has its domain. Now, the point is that one should not get attached. One should not get attached to this idea of Buddha kshetra. Okay. So, it is called Kshetra Vishuddhi Pranidhana Sthanam. I mean, in the commentary, this particular next stage, where a bodhisattva makes a resolve to purify the Buddha land or the Buddha realm, Buddha Kshetra. Buddha Kshetra Shuddhi Pranidhana Sthana. Kshetra Vishuddhi Pranidhana Sthana. Okay? Now, the idea is that in Buddhist texts, it is said that the Bodhisattva should purify the Buddha Kshetras. Now, how can we understand this? So, if you say that there is no agent, there is no object, then how can one understand this? Right? That would be the question. And then this sentence. So, where is it? Just a minute, I lost the text. Can you read that sentence again? Evam bodhi. Okay. Aham kshetravyuha nishpadishami iti. Right? Okay. So if a bodhisattva, whosoever bodhisattva, actually, so Bhagavan said, the exalted one said, Yah kashchit bodhisattvaha, sorry, Subhuti bodhisattva. So, O Subhuti, whosoever bodhisattva, evam bodhit, would say like this, who said thus, that Aham kshetravyuha nishpadishami iti, that I would create, nishpadishami, I would produce Buddha kshetras, the Buddha field, the Buddha land. Then he says, Tat vitatham bhaved, then that would amount to falsehood. So if someone is saying this, then he is telling a lie. That's what it means. Vitatham bhavet, aham kshetra nishpadishami iti, sa vitatham bhavet. Tatha means truth. Like we have the word like tathata, right? State of truth. So vitatha means which is devoid of truth. That means false. So sa vitatham vadit. So he would speak something which is devoid of truth. That means false. Okay? Now, now in the commentary, just a minute. Okay, so no, I mean that's all. So he says, I mean, now can you read the next line? Read the next line. Tatkasya hetoho. Now why is that? Avyuhaste tathagaten bhashitaha. Yes. Now you see, I mean, you have to see this. I mean, this is a pattern which you will always see in this sutra, right? So first, there is a question asked, right? So Tathagata says that, or any bodhisattva whatsoever, if he would say that I am producing kshetra vyuhas, then you should know that this is a false statement. And why is that? Now, this particular statement, that if someone would say that, he has acquired or he has produced Kshetra Vyuha, then he is telling a lie. Because actually, Kshetra Vyuha in ultimate sense cannot be produced. Yeah? In ultimate sense, no dharma arises, no dharma ceases. Right? Because the ultimate reality is free from this idea of arising and cessation, or idea of existence and non-existence. Okay, because these are extremes. So nothing arises, nothing ceases. So therefore, if someone is saying that okay, he's going to produce or he's producing a Buddha Kshetra, then he's telling a lie from the ultimate reality's point of view, not from the conventional reality's point of view. Conventional reality's point of view is fine, but from the ultimate reality's point of view, it's false. Tanmursha.
Actually, Vyuha means ornamented, right?
No. I just now I told you. Now, so the Buddha said the Kshetra Vyuha iti subhuti avyuhaste tathagatena bhashita. So these expressions, Kshetra Vyuha, we're just repeating this. That means to show that often we use this expression. Often we say Kshetra Vyuha. So Kshetra means field and Vyuha means multiple, many. So Kshetra Vyuha means not just one field, but it's a cluster of fields. You understand the word cluster? That means a group. Yeah, a group of fields. That is called Vyuha. So Vyuha means multiple kshetras. Or you can say cluster. So Vyuha can be translated cluster. Okay. And he said Tena Uchante Kshetra Vyuha, and therefore they are called Kshetra Vyuha. So the term Kshetra Vyuha is there at a conventional level, but it's just a name. Right? So when it is said, it becomes conventional, it becomes general. Right? We have seen this, that something which is, ultimate cannot be expressed. Right? It is beyond words, it cannot be expressed, it cannot be grasped. Agrahya anavilapya. Okay. Okay, Super Santi, next one.
तस्मात् हि सुबुते परिसत्तेन मनसकर्म एवं अवस्थितं चित्तम् उत्पादयितव्यं ज्ञानात् प्रतिष्ठितं चित्तम् उत्पादयितव्यम्.
Okay, stop. Now, what Buddha is saying here? Tasmat tari subhute, therefore, O subhuti, bodhisattvena mahasattvena evam apratishtam chittam utpadayitavyam. So you should produce a mind which is not established anywhere. That means which is not dependent on anything. Right? So Bodhisattva, therefore he says, should produce such a mind which is apratishthita, which is not established. That means which is free. Yeah? Which is not attached, which is free. Now, a bodhisattva, when he is thinking, he should not kind of get attached to anything. Now we have seen this idea also earlier, that when he is giving dana, he should not get attached anywhere, either in the object of donation or in the idea of donor or a donee, right? Similarly, we have seen that um, he should also not get attached anywhere. We have seen just now today this Arana Vihari. So when the Buddha talked about Subhuti, he said that na kvachit viharati, right? His mind does not dwell anywhere. That means his mind does not get attached to anywhere. So now the same idea is there, right? So the Buddha is saying to Subhuti, therefore, O Subhuti, a bodhisattva who is a great being, Mahasattva, should produce such a mind. Should the mind in such a way that it does not get established anywhere. Yanna kvachit pratishtitam. With the sentence. Vyasatagambashita tenochanti khitovivaiti tasmatari subhute bodhisattvena mahasattvena avyam apratishtitam chittam utpadayitavyam yan na kvachit pratishtitam, so which is not established anywhere. Yat na kvachit pratishtitam, which is not established anywhere. That means which is not attached to anything. Okay, which is not established anywhere means what? Which is not attached to anything. And then he explains it further. He elaborates it. Can you continue, Santa? Na rupa pratishtitam chittam. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now he gives you a list. Na rupa pratishtitam. This is just an elaboration, because earlier he said that na kvachit pratishtitam, right? His mind should not be established anywhere. Now anywhere means what? Na rupa pratishtitam. It is, he should not produce a mind which is established in rupa, visible form, right? Na shabda, not sound, not na gandha, not smell or fragrance. Then na rasa, not taste. And then na dharma, so na sprashtavya pratishtitena, that means the object of touch. And not dharma pratishtitena chittam utpadetavyam. So while producing the mind, one should neither get attached to visible form, nor to sound, smell, taste, touch, and ideas or concepts. Okay? So any of the objects. So these are all objects, right? Objects of consciousness, isn't it? Rupa, Shabda, Gandha, Rasa. When you're also studying Abhidharma, right? For example. These are the objects of consciousness, isn't it? And according to Abhidharma, based on these objects, the consciousness arises, right? So they are the basis of the consciousness to arise. But now here in the prajñāpāramitā, in the prajñāpāramitā kind of way, you have to kind of get rid of all your attachment or adherence to any of the objects. Okay, then next one. Okay, so actually with this, basically this particular section about not getting attached to the idea of kshetra. So that particular section which talks about the attachment for producing the kshetra vyuha. So that has been explained now. Now, from here on, there is the next section which starts. And this is about, the next step. Sattva Paripaka Sthanam. It is called Sattva Paripaka Sthanam. That means it's a step of maturing the living beings. Because again, in order to become Buddha, right? What you all need? You need to make all sentient beings enlightened, right? Because without that, one cannot become a Buddha unless he matures all sentient beings to enlightenment, or he makes them ready for enlightenment. So that's a job. So that's a precondition. Now, the problem is that from the Madhyamaka or Yogacara point of view, that the self, or the beings are not real, right? From the Madhyamaka point of view, they are not ultimate reality. From the Yogacara point of view, also they are not ultimate reality. So Madhyamaka is say, okay, being is just an idea, it's just a prajñāpāramitā. Yeah, Yogacara will say this is just your mental projection. Yeah, chitta matra. Now, in order to mature the beings, you have to accept beings first, right? Even though they are not ultimately real, but at a conventional level, you have to accept the sattvas and there try to mature them, prepare them for. So this could be the obstacle. For a bodhisattva, he in a commentary he says, so this particular idea uh, that sattvas do not exist in reality, so this could become an obstacle. So therefore he calls it uh, sattvopeksha lakshana vigna. So it's a vigna, it's an obstacle characterized by sattvopeksha. That means you don't have any feeling for the beings. You are neutral to beings. So becoming indifferent to living beings. So that could be the danger. Yeah, I remember. Therefore, again, I'm drawing you back to what you already studied. Huh? So, Vimalkirti, you remember you studied this section where Vimalkirti asked this. This question was asked: if beings are just image or just a reflection, right? So then, how about practicing Brahma Viharas? Yeah? Now, this is the question which Sunim is dealing with. So now this is again another, you can say, question. Like, how can one become a Buddha if beings are not real? Because Bodhisattva has a vow that I will lead all sentient beings to enlightenment. And if there are no sentient beings, then he may be indifferent to them. And then how about his vow of becoming the Buddha? Right? So there is a conflict. Now, in that connection, this particular section is taught. Okay. Can one read this? Who has the turn?
तद्यथापि नाम सुभूते पुरुषः भवेत् उपेतकाय महाकाय यत्तस्य एव रूप आत्मभाव स्यात् तद्यथापि नाम सुमेरुः पर्वतराजः.
Now, I mean, this is the question. It again starts with a question. So, O Subhuti, no, sorry. So he says, first of all, just a minute. Okay. Now he said, Tad yathapi nama subhute, O Subhuti, just as. Tad yathapi nam. Tad yatha means just as. For instance, O Subhuti, if there would be a person, Purusho Bhavet, if there would be a person, and how is this person? Upetakayo Mahakayaha. So, just as there would be a person, Purusho Bhavet, and how is he? Upetakayo Mahakayaha. So, who would have a body, Upetakayaha, and would have a big body, Mahakayaha. Kaya means body, right? So, Upeta Kaya means endowed with body, literally. Upeta, Upa plus E is the root, and it's a past participle.
Upa plus E, sir. Upa plus E.
Yes, Upa plus E. Means to go near, to approach. E means to go, and Upa is to go near. Now, Upeta Kaya means being endowed with body, accompanied by body. Okay, so there would be a person who has body and who has big body, and so Maharupakaya, Mahakayo, yat tasyevam rupatma bhavah syat tad yathapi naam Sumedru Parvataraja. Now he said that he would have such a big body, such a large body, such a huge body. So I mean, yat tasyeva rupatma bhavah syat, and if he would have such a kind of material body, Rupa Atma Bhava, then tad yathapi nama Now, what Buddha is saying here is that there would be a person who would have such a big body, and it would be as large as Sumeru mountain. Did we read this sentence? Tad yathapi nama Sumeru Parvataraja. So just as Sumeru, with the king of mountains, Parvataraja, king of mountains. I mean, there is this Mount Meru, and this is again in Buddhist cosmology. This is said to be the biggest mountain, right? and it is considered that it is in the center of the world. And then around that Sumeru mountain, there are these four, you can say, continents. Yeah, Jambu, Dvipa, Tikonarta.
Sumeru is not mountains, Mount Everest, right? It's not Mount Everest.
Sorry?
Sumeru is not Mount Everest.
Not?
Mount Everest. Mount Everest, right?
No, sorry, I can.
Everest, Mount Everest.
Mount Everest.
It's not Sumeru.
No, I mean, see, I mean, this is more a mythical kind of a mountain. Of course, people now compare it with Mount Everest, but I think they also say that maybe it is also near. No, near. What is that? This. I think you also have in Vietnam also the Cambodia. There's the idea of this Mount Meru just close to their place.
And it's not the real mountain.
Yeah, it's real. It's not a real mountain. I mean, there's a kind of a mythical mountain, and it is said to be the largest mountain and the big mountain. I mean, so and it is said to be at the center of the center of the universe.
It's mentioned in Abhidharma also.
Yeah. There are in cosmology, they talk about 7 mountains and so on and so forth. Now, he says that there will be a person. Now, this person in the commentary, Kamalaśīla explains that this Purusha is not actually referring to any man, but it refers to a demon, Rahu. This refers to a demon called Rahu, who is said to be very large in size. Now, the Buddha is asking to Subhuti that, okay, so what do you think if there would be a person, there is this demon, which has a body and which has a very large body and which is as big as the Mount Meru. Yeah. So then he says, Tat kim manyasya subhute apisa mahan atmabhavaha bhavet. So what do you think, O Subhuti? Would that body, would that individual, or would that body be very big? Mahansa atmabhavaha bhavet. Tat kim manyasya subhute apinu mahansa atmabhavo bhavet. So what do you think? Would that atmabhava, now this atmabhava, the term atmabhava, is used to refer to one's body or one's self. Atmabhava. Self. So would that, or we can say the body simply, would that body, would that atmabhava, would that individuality or personality, would it be very big? And what Subhuti says? Yes. So he says, yes. O Bhagwan, O exalted one, yes, O Sugata, it would be a large or a big body. Yeah. It would be a large body, it would be a large individuality. Yes. And then suppose and Tatkase, then why is that? Yes. Now he says, O Subhuti, that Atma Bhava is a bhava. So he says, Tat Kaseto, he says, Atma Bhava iti Bhagavan na bhava. O Bhagavan, O exalted one, whatever is said, whatever is called as Atma Bhava, the individuality or individual body, na Atma Bhava, that is not a real bhava, that is not a real being. That means that is not a being in an ultimate sense. In the conventional sense, whatever we call as Atma Bhava in conventional reality is not a bhava at all from the ultimate reality's point of view. And he says that is what is declared by the Tathagata. I mean, what is declared by the Tathagata, na bhavaha sa Tathagatena bhashita. So the Tathagata has declared it not as a bhava, not as bhava in the ultimate sense. And tenochate, yeah, Atma Bhava iti, and therefore it is called Atma Bhava. So Atma Bhava is just an expression. Atma Bhava is just a prajñāpti, just an expression. It is just a conventional reality. But in ultimate sense, there is no bhava, there is no reality, there is no existence of any being as such. So being is just a concept. Now we use it in a conventional reality to communicate, but that is not the ultimate reality. Okay. So and then yes. Now Subhuti is very smart. He gives all the answers. He says, now he points out a very interesting thing. I mean, important thing here. He says that, O Bhagwan, O exalted one, na sabhavo na abhava. It is neither bhava nor abhava. That means it is neither it neither exists nor does not exist. So it is neither presence nor absence. You got it? Na sabhavaha na abhava. So when we say that there is no Atma Bhava, he is not denying. He is not saying that there is nothing. Right? So he is not going to the other extreme of absence, nasti. When he is denying asti, there is, he is not going to the other extreme of there is not. But rather it is in between. So we say it exists. So it exists from the point of view of conventional reality, but it does not exist from the point of view of ultimate reality. And therefore he said teno uchyate Atma Bhavaha iti. Therefore it is called Atma Bhava. So one has to kind of keep it in mind that when we are not denying the existence of these things, but we are only saying that this, whatever you are saying, is true only in the limited sense and not in a full sense. Okay? So a bodhisattva, when he is practicing, he has to keep in mind that yes, beings exist, sattvas are there, right? At a conventional level. So one has to make efforts. One has to have the chanda pranidhana, the desire and the resolve to help them all, to help them to become enlightened, right? But when he is doing that at the yoga samapatti level, he has to understand that the beings do not exist in the ultimate sense, right? So that he does not develop any ego again, that he is helping people, yeah, making them mature for enlightenment and so on and so forth. So this is how, I mean, the balance should be made that the things cannot, I mean, we don't say that they exist, or we also don't say that they do not exist. So they exist as a conventional reality and they do not exist as ultimate reality. That's the balance, that's a prajñāpāramitā. Okay, so this is the section about the sattva paripāka. Okay, so I think we can stop here today and we'll read the next sthana. And what is the date today? 15th. Yeah. Okay. So up to here, will be your portion for the mid-sem examination. Okay, it exists and it does not exist. So this section which we read up to here, it will be the same thing like first semester. Yeah, you'll have a part of translation and a question or a note. Okay. Super Saddha, you will not be attending the exam, right? This time? Oh, we'll keep it for. Okay.
So mountain there is not there.
Sorry?
There is no mountain.
I mean, Mount Meru is a kind of, see, this Buddhist cosmology. You don't have to now. If you want to look at it on the map, you will not find it. World Atlas, if you open, find out Mount Meru. You can find Mount Everest. So I mean, what people do is they say, okay, Mount Meru is this, and this is that. But I mean, these are just our modern interpretation because, see, in the ancient cosmology, they only talk about 4 continents. Yeah, Jambudvipa, this Uttarakuru, and all this. I mean, now, but modern times, if you look at it, you say, okay, how many continents are there?